everybody, I'm here with a quick little video about easy, affordable ways to celebrate Beltane, things that will fit into your actual life. Not something that's like too over the top. I know a lot of us don't have a ton of extra money, and also we don't have a ton of extra time. I know myself, I'm a busy person. I have a job, I do this. I have lots of creative projects right now on the go. I play in a band. I do a lot of things. And so I can't do some giant ceremonial ritual. I just don't have the resources or the time, quite frankly, or the energy for that. But I still want to honor the season. And so I wanted to share with you some ideas for how you can celebrate the season that works within normal, regular people type lifestyles. So when I think of Beltane, and yes, I want to acknowledge that this time of year in the Southern Hemisphere, it's Samhain, but I am speaking to the, right now it's in the Northern Hemisphere where I live, it is Beltane, but I just want to acknowledge that, is that this is a time of year where spring is in full force. I mean, I guess it depends where you live in the world, how far you are into spring. I live in a more northern latitude, being on the Canadian prairies, but it is definitely spring here. There are buds on the trees. The rain and the grass just suddenly went from brown to green. I'm starting to see like daffodils and things, some of the really early flowers. The birds are coming back. So we're definitely spring is here. And so it's when I associate this time of year, I associate it with spring. I associate it with, a warm weather being around the corner. And again, depending where you live, it may already be here. For me as well, Beltane, I associate with the goddess Venus because this is the middle of Taurus season. Like often, some people even celebrate Beltane when the sun reaches 15 degrees or halfway through Taurus. It's usually around there at this time of year. But we're in Taurus season, and Taurus is an earth sign that's ruled by the planet Venus. And so I associate this time of year with Venus, her Greek name Aphrodite, but really any goddess of love and fertility and the arts can be celebrated at this particular time. And so, it's Taurus season, and Taurus season, it's an earthy sign. It is all about the pleasures of the body, of nature, and also of focusing on being rather than just doing. It's a time to slow down. It's a time to be and be in the beauty and sensuality of the world. And so for me, that is very much what I'm celebrating at Beltane season is the goddess Venus, and she's the goddess of love, beauty, and the arts, and celebrating all those kind of things at this time of year. So I kind of break it down into a couple of categories. The first is nature. Taurus season is about the beauty of nature, seeing beauty in the natural world. And one of the things that we can easily do on any Sabbath is to go for a walk and observe nature. And I think Beltane is one of the best ones for doing this, is to go outside and take a walk in your area. Maybe go to a park if you're lucky enough to live near a rural area or an area where you can kind of walk in nature. But even if you live in the middle of the city, I mean, you can find a park, you can just go out and just see how spring is blooming around you. Take notice of things like, are there different birds now? Have birds come back? Are you seeing animals that you don't, maybe you didn't see when it was colder? Are there flowers in bloom? Are there plants that are greening? What has changed since the last Sabbath? Take a look at nature and just enjoy it and appreciate it. And also, it's a little bit warmer this time of year. It's a little easier, at least in my part of the world, to go for a walk on Beltane than it is on Imbolc. That's for sure. There's a big temperature difference. But, it's just nice, whatever the season is, to go out and just see where nature is at, because we live in a world now where, we have indoor heating, thank God, indoor heating, indoor plumbing, we have air conditioning, all that stuff where, we have artificial lighting and stuff where we're not as connected to the cycles of the seasons as our ancestors were. And I'm fine with that because I like my creature comforts, but I think it's important to connect with nature, to go outside and to just see what's going on around you and connect with it. And also, it's just good to go for a walk. So going for a walk can be a really easy way to just acknowledge and celebrate the season. The next thing that you can do, and again, it depends on your living situation, is gardening. So now, I know everybody's living situation is different, and also it depends where you are in the world. So, for example, where I live, I'm lucky enough to live in a house, I have a yard, it's not quite planting season yet. Some people have gotten sort of like seedlings started, in their homes and stuff, but it is definitely still too cold. There's too much risk of things like frost and snow, or cold nights to plant yet. That we wait usually till Victoria Day, which is in a few weeks. It's like the second last Sunday, or pardon me, second last Monday of May. So most people wait till then to plant. Then you're pretty safe. But I know if you live further south, you may have already started planting your garden. But it's great whatever weather that you are in, whatever latitude, whatever climate you're in, to go out and do some yard work if you can. Go out and like, I don't know, rake or like pick up the sticks on lawn or plant those flowers or water them or whatever stage that you're at, to reconnect with the outside world and with the growing world. And, or even to just go to a garden center and walk around and look at some of the plants and things. It's a really great way to connect with nature. Now, I know not everybody is lucky enough to have a yard. Some of you live in apartments, or different situations. But even like, getting a plant and putting it on your windowsill can be a wonderful way to celebrate the season and celebrate all of the things that are growing. And you can incorporate into that a little bit of magic as well. I've seen where people will buy a new plant and they'll put like a little crystal in it, and they'll write an intention on a little piece of paper, wrap it around the crystal and plant it. So it's kind of like in the soil. So as your plant grows, so grows your intention. That can be like an easy little magic-y thing to do. Or you can do that if you do have like a garden. But it's a really great time to just even think about like, if I can grow something, what can I grow? Connecting with that idea of like fertility in nature, the ability to grow things, the ability for things to be abundant. And that can be symbolic, or you might just want to put some flowers out and be like, done, good, I'm good. And so connecting with that in that way can be really great. And again, you don't have to, have a big giant yard. You can just, if you have like a windowsill, you can put a little plant there to honor the season. Connecting with flowers as well. Flowers I associate with this particular season. Like I said, not a lot of flowers in bloom right yet where I am, but I do associate with that because it's when we start to notice the shoots come up, we're starting to see some flowers. And I know for some of you, it's full flower season right now. And so just acknowledging that I think is really wonderful. Maybe even like buying yourself some flowers, celebrating the beauty of who you are if you have the wherewithal for that. You can definitely do that kind of thing. So connecting in with plants, with the growing, with nature and how it's growing can be a really wonderful thing to do to celebrate Beltane. I also associate this time of year, and I associate summer solstice with this as well, is with the fae, with fairies, with nature spirits. And so you want to like do some crafts or things that have something to do with fairies. Like it could be as simple as putting a little fairy statue in your garden. Again, not all of us are crafty, not all of us have the time for that. But putting a little fairy statue in your garden, or making a little fairy door and put it on the tree, or putting a little, like fairy on the windowsill, drawing a picture of fairy. It can be really, really simple, but connecting in with the fae. Or maybe if you are somebody who, maybe you like to read cards or something, there's like fairy cards. You can do like a fairy reading for yourself. There are ways to connect in with that fairy kind of vibe that I find to be very much like very powerful at this time of year. I find like early spring and early summer have a lot of like fairy type vibes. And so connecting in with that in your own way can be a really, really nice thing to do. Other things that you can do are connecting in again with flowers. If you like to make flower crowns, this is a good time to do it. Some people will make them out of actual flowers, and kudos to you if you do that. And if you're a crafty person, maybe you go and you get the fake flowers and you make a flower crown. And the good thing with that is that you can reuse it again. It's not going to fade and stuff. Things like that can be a good way to connect in with Beltane, and you can like wear your flower crown. Or it used to be popular like years ago, the headbands with the flowers. You could get those. You could wear that as well if you're so inclined, as a way to connect in with the kind of that spring fertility type vibe. So that's nature. The other thing I connect with this time of year and with Venus is beauty as well, and the beauty and sensuality of being in a physical body. And so this time of year, I think can be a really great time to reassess things like your wardrobe. Maybe you want to go through your closet and like look at your clothes, get rid of the clothes that don't make you feel so good, don't fit you right, donate those, or, if they're in good condition, or resell them. I know a lot of us don't have a ton of money. If you can resell them, that's awesome for someone else to enjoy. It's also, good just to go through and be like, okay, like, do I need more socks? Or, just connecting in with like, okay, how do I take care of myself in a physical body? And so part of that is how we dress and our clothes. And so going through our clothes can be a good way to see like, okay, get rid of the stuff that don't make me feel good. I want to feel good about myself and my body, the things I don't fit into anymore. Or maybe the things where you're like, some people will have that article of clothing where they're like, I'm going to lose whatever X amount of pounds and fit into this again. Let that go. Let that go. I mean, that is just, every time you see it, you are just shaming yourself. Like, it's not a good idea. Like, just get rid of it. Let it go. Love your body as it is, which I know is sometimes like easier said than done, right? But I think that's a good thing for Beltane season, is just really loving our bodies and honoring them in all of their imperfections and foibles. It's good to just like honor and love our bodies. And I think going through our clothes and getting rid of the things that don't serve us anymore can be a powerful way of honoring ourselves. And then we can take an inventory, like maybe you need like more socks or more sweaters or something, right? So you can take an inventory of that way. Other things that you can do is you can and again, everyone's resources are different, but if you can get your hair done, or if even if you're doing it at home, dyeing your hair or whatever, going to the spa if you can, or doing a little spa treatment at home, maybe getting that like face mask that you love, like doing like something that connects you in with the beauty of the body, and just honoring that and loving that can be a really powerful way to celebrate this time of year. Maybe you go through, your makeup, and if you wear makeup, and you discard the stuff that's like outdated. Going through, I think, these things and just like reassessing things can be a really powerful way to connect in with the season, with body, and loving ourselves. And not like, it's not an act of like shaming ourselves. It's an act of like loving ourselves, to say like, what suits me now? Like maybe something suited me a long time ago, but it doesn't suit me now anymore. And so letting that go and being able to move on, I think, is really good. So connecting in with kind of that. And again, if you can do something really lovely for yourself and your body, and again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be like, you have like a bubble bath, or you like put that face mask that you've been saving, in the back of the cupboard. You use it, instead of letting it sit there. Things like that can be a really wonderful thing to do. Getting your nails painted, even if it's from a friend or something, can be really lovely. So connecting in with the beauty of the body and enjoying that sensuality can be really wonderful. Maybe getting a massage from somebody, whether that's, again, not everybody can afford a professional massage, but maybe you and a friend trade back rubs or something. Just connecting in with the sensuality of things can be really wonderful. And then, of course, Venus is the goddess of love. And, we often celebrate romance and love around Valentine's, and I do that as well. But I think that Beltane's like a really great sort of like alternate Valentine's Day, because it has that connection in with Venus and love and fertility. And of course, if you don't want to be fertile, take precautions, be safe. But it's a really great time to connect in with, if you have a partner, if you have a lover, connecting in with them, having like a romantic night, a romantic date, and of course, sex, right? I mean, let's be blunt, Beltane is about sex, right? So having sex, and you don't have to have a partner, of course, for that. But if you do, a really great way to celebrate the Beltane season is to have like a fun romantic night, whatever works for you. Can be really just like a lovely way to celebrate this season. So I tend to, like I said, look at Beltane in categories of like connecting with nature. I think of the fae. I think of love and romance and sensuality and beauty. But another one actually that I should mention too is the arts, because Venus is also a goddess of the arts, of art and music and anything that is beautiful. And that's kind of more her in the sign of Libra, because that's about man-made beauty, but you can incorporate that into Beltane as well. So maybe there's a creative project that you could do a blessing for, or you could do a commitment to. You could commit that, let's say you're like, I'm gonna draw a little bit every day, or I'm gonna write a little bit every day, or whatever it is. You can connect in with that. Or maybe you're like, I'm gonna sign up for that workshop or that class that I wanted to sign up for. So connecting in with your creativity can be a really another way to connect in with that energy of Venus and that energy of Beltane. So committing to yourself is one way. And you can also like go on a little trip to shop for the art supplies. Can be another way to celebrate the Beltane season. So I hope this has given you some ideas that fit into real life, because let's face it, I do not have time or energy or the money to craft an entire maypole. That is not going to happen. Or do some of these other things you'll see on these very aesthetic channels, which I also love to watch. But realistically, I don't have the time or the resources for. So I hope this has given you some ideas. If you want, on my Patreon, I have you can sign up for like a free membership. I'm going to be putting a little Beltane ritual there. If you want to check that out, you can sign up. Again, it could be free Patreon, like the free level. It's going to be available to everyone, just like a little Beltane Venus gratitude ritual. I'm going to have that there, so you can check that out. Link to the Patrons below. And of course, thank you to my patrons. You make all of this possible. So thank you so much. You guys are the best. On the Patreon this month, we're going to be working with the goddess Venus all month. I'm also on the Academy level going to be starting a journey through the Thoth Tarot. So I hope you can, if you're interested, you want to join for that. And I always have on my Patreon as well weekly tarot scopes and astrology for like detailed astrology for the week. And there's also a level where you can sign up for a subscription for a private video reading every month. So you can check that out if you want. And of course, there's my essay shop too. But thank you. I had to do the plug at the end. Thank you to everyone who watches. Thank you everybody who subscribes and likes. You guys are the best. And as always, peace and love and rock.